The content on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. Please contact a professional when it comes to your financial needs. Running down the week that was in cryptocurrency, week of December 20th, 2025. There are simply too many surface level conversations when it comes to high value men on the dating market. Individuals who make over $100,000. This seems to be what people are generally talking about when they talk about that mark of the beast kind of criteria. When I say mark of the beast, I mean 666, 6 feet tall, six figures, and six. You get the idea. But what we're talking about today is what $100,000 actually gets you. And if you are someone looking for someone to come in to a relationship with that kind of earning power, ask yourself this: are you $100,000 a year person? Or why are you not out there trying to get $100,000 for yourself? This is a big question to me because I want to show you what $100,000 actually is. Because my contention is that if you out here looking for $100,000, you don't have it. And this is what $100,000 actually means to someone living in America at this point in time in this economy. Off rip, $100,000 is actually $70,000 to $79,000 in the U.S. when you take out taxes and deductions. That's for the average earner. Even if you are self-employed, $100,000 gross is not what you taking home. You're going to probably be giving up 22% of that in taxes just before you even break bread with your expenses. So don't even go there with that number. It just is. That is a simple fact of the matter. This is gross versus net. And a lot of these surface level conversations don't take that into consideration, which tells me that the people asking this are pretty, or stating this, making this statement that they need $100,000 earner in their life. Well, you probably don't have it because you're missing out on the biggest lesson right there, that earning potential. And this is all subjective, right? $100,000 to somebody sitting up in West Virginia, for instance, versus somebody sitting up in LA. That's a whole different kind of conversation where the rent that comes out of your net or your housing is going to be drastically different. But again, if you're in Appalachia, you ain't making an average of $100,000. That is a very rare earner in those states. The average income there in places like Springfield, Massachusetts, is $18,000 a year. That is crazy work to any grown person, but that's an economic reality that you have to actually experience, like I've experienced it, to really know what that actually means. So when you start having these $100,000 conversations and your lifestyle is not reflecting that, what are you really talking about? And why are you focusing on what's in somebody else's pocket versus what you can put in your own? That's what we are focusing on right here. And the way to get there is simply by looking at a budget for yourself, no matter what your earnings are. But we're going to base it off of what you're talking about, what you're looking for, that $100,000 a year individual. I am simply going to beat this budget screen and this spreadsheet that I built. I'm just going to beat it like a drum until it sinks in that really everything is subjective. We already established that $100,000 in America is really actually between $72,000 and $78,000. Let's just say $75,000 annual income, and that is what 100,000 $100 a year earner makes, somebody who just makes six figures, not not 120, not 110, just somebody with six figures. You're taking home your monthly average after your deductions is about 6 grand. Cool. But what if you live in a state like New York, or New York City proper, or Hawaii, or LA, where your average um, living expenses is in the $4,000 to $5,000 range? What does that do to your budget? You can see most of your income, 74% of it, is going to that two-bedroom apartment. Um, that's just not doable if you have a component of internet bills, cell phone. These are very cheap bills. You don't have any kids, so you're not paying any child support. Um, Auto insurance is going to be a little higher in those areas. And let's just say you are a TV junkie like I am. You get all these streaming services and you're actually paying for it. You're not robbing the companies or whatever. You are pretty much cooked by the end of the month. This is what you have left over, 179 bucks. That's just on whip. If you're in Atlanta and you got a two-bedroom apartment, it's around $2,300 here. You're doing a little better. Doing a little better. You can watch all the TV you want. You got, after your monthly budget, got about 2 grand to play with. That's enough for you to put 10% away. And this is what you had to play with after investing and saving. Got 1,700 bucks. That's enough to go out and party and play. You watch TV. You don't have a car note, but you do have a car and you got decent insurance. You know, you're gonna pay a little bit more than gas than I'm paying, but it is what it is. You're doing all right. That's some most. That's probably about 70% of America right now, with the average rent being anywhere from $1,800 to $2,300 a month. You can make it off of that $100,000 salary, but that's not the average of everybody, is it? The average is 50. Now look what happens. What if you're paying child support, a very low number? You know, that's the difference. That's the great equalizer. Anything outside of the average stuff, you can save $100 a month just by not watching TV. You might want to think about that. It's still gonna affect your investment portfolio, because you're gonna be in a hole if you try to keep that 10% investment or savings going. Understand that that is an economic reality. This is an economic reality of a lot of people, half of the people or more. The average in America, the average earner is only $50,000 a year, and that's gross. That's gross. So that means, in order for you to get to the net number, which this is, that's $75,000 just to come home with 50 grand. If you're actually making $50,000, your income drops down significantly. You're thinking about 38 on a $50,000 year salary. That's just not going to cut it with one income. This is why people are failing so bad financially. You're in the hole $700 a month with your average component of bills. So let's stop having these surface level conversations about what this actually is when you're out here in the dating market, assuming you don't already bringing children into the mix. Let's cut that nonsense right now, right here. No matter what you got going on, these are sobering numbers for anybody. If you're in that dating market and you are looking for a dollar amount to start your dating journey, then I suggest you be about your business and make that money. Because as we see, $100,000 Six figures is actually not six figures when you factor in putting a roof over your head. And depending on where you are, that DC area, that New York area, LA area, $100,000 may not be, you know, doable and compatible with a dating scene that you think you are going to be getting in those areas. It's just not. You got to understand, people are struggling just like you. If you just happen to be $100,000 a year person, your dating pool is going to be smaller if that's your criteria. Understand that not a whole lot of people, the average income is $50,000 south of that. So have that in mind. Don't ask for something that you can't bring for yourself, and be realistic about the numbers. This is not hard math, these are just facts. I think it's the height of hypocrisy for you to go out here with slurred speech and a lot of slang and jargon saying that, $100,000 man is what I'm looking for, and you a $50,000 bill trip. You are a $50,000 expense. You out of here. You out of here. Nobody looks that good. I'll talk to you later.